A very good evening to everyone. It's a pleasure to have you all join us today for this significant and insightful webinar on the topic that concerns us a lot sustainable future. As a part of Indian Society for Technical Education, I, Kavishri Sekya, take pride in representing SDG, Key to a Sustainable Future, an initiative led by VIT University. Indian Society for Technical Education. Indian Society for Technical Education (IST) is the leading national, professional, non-profit society for technical education with the motto of career, personality, and holistic development of the student. We organize technical workshops, hackathons, and a codathon to find and enhance the hidden skills in the student. Today, we have the pleasure of having a esteemed speaker with us, someone who has been at the forefront of sustainable energy, research, and technology. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Ajith Gopi, Additional Manager, Technical Manager at ENERT, Agency for New and Renewable Energy Research and Technology. Before we dive into the topic, let's take a moment to understand why Sustainable Development Goals are crucial for shaping a better future for us. The United Nations has outlined 17 Sustainable Development Goals covering a wide range of global challenges, from poverty and hunger to climate action and clean energy. Today, we will focus on how these goals are interconnected and why they are essential for achieving a sustainable and sustainable world. Dr. Ajit, we are truly honored to have you all join us today as our guest. Your presence here is a testament to your commitment to sustainable development. We eagerly look forward to hearing your insights, which will undoubtedly shed light on this issue. Without further ado, I would like to invite you to take the stage and share your expertise on the topic of sustainable development. Over to you, sir.
Can I share my presentation? Can you stop your presentation
Sure,
now?
sure, sir.
Please stop your presentation. I will share from my side. Yeah, thank you. Let me share my presentation.
Yes, sir.
Am I audible? Am I audible? Am I audible? Can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay, thank you. I'll share it now. Thanks,
yes, sir,
thanks
you are.
VIT, thanks VIT and Indian Society of Technical Education um, for inviting me for this very important talk. So it's my privilege to be here today. So hello to all listening to this. So for me, because I'm basically a technical person, for the last 32 years, I've been into renewable energy only, mostly on solar photovoltaics and on wind energy. I'm a practicing engineer. I have some research work also. So this will be a different subject for me, but still it is so much connected to us. So that's why I took this topic for this for today's discussions and my presentations. Thank you again to VIT and ISTE for inviting me. Thank you, Kavyasri, Anushik Pandey, and Muhammad Raswan for giving me this opportunity. Let me present my. Let me know how much time I will get. How long I can present? Okay. I hope I can finish within 45 minutes, and we will take the Q&A. Yeah. Hope you can see my screen, right?
Yes,
Can anyone
sir.
confirm? Okay. Now the presentation is also visible, right? Thank you. Thank you so much. So we will be talking here on sustainable development goals. Of course, you know about the background because the introductory, the speaker who welcomed me has given a short introduction about SDGs and its importance. So it started with 1992 Earth Summit, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. I remember the days. We were very young, passed out from the college in 88, but still 1988, but still after 4 years, we were very much interested into this because I joined ANAT in 1990 onwards. So my interest into renewable energy made me think about our Mother Earth. So Earth Summit in Rio de Janeiro, I clearly remember 1992. So more than 172 countries adopted Agenda 21 to build a global partnership for sustainable development. So the sustainable development, the name, as it sounds, we heard for the first time in 1992. I should say that I heard about the first time in 1992. Already I joined with the Renewable Energy State Nodal Agency, ANERT. The second important summit was the Millennium Summit in September 2000 at the UN headquarters at New York. The summit actually led to the predecessor of the Sustainable Development Goals, the Millennium Development Goals, MDGs. The main aim was to reduce the extreme poverty by 2015. So 2000 to 2015 was the target date, the period of target. Then a lot of declarations and other summits came on sustainable development. Another important was on Johannesburg Declaration in 2002. That I also very clearly remembers about the SDG, the Sustainable Development Summit in South Africa at Johannesburg. Because these kind of things created a kind of a know-how, an awareness on protecting our earth, protecting our climate, etc. So I'll give you some ideas about the Millennium Development Goals. So the first goal set by UN, the Millennium Development Goals, MDGs, are 8 goals. One, to eradicate extreme poverty. Second, to achieve universal primary education. Third, to promote gender equality and empower women. Fourth, the reduce child mortality. Fifth, the improve maternal health. Sixth, combat HIV, AIDS, malaria, and other diseases. Seventh, ensure environmental sustainability. And 8, develop a global partnership for development. So these 8 goals, very, very priority goals. I would say that it targets on extreme, to eradicate extreme poverty, and also it's centered around the development of women, empowering women and child. So of course, it is looking at the fighting the global diseases, epidemics, and develop a global partnership. It was the predecessor of SDGs. We also heard, we also worked learning about Millennium Development Goals. Then again, in 2012, in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, United Nations Conference on Sustainable Development held. It actually decided to launch a process of SDGs. It has set a goal for going for SDGs upon MDGs. Then 2013, a 30-member open working group started to develop a proposal for SDGs. Then, of course, in 2015, the 17 SDGs were defined and was adopted at the UN Sustainable Development Summit in New York in September 2015. This is the history. This is the history. So having said this, let us see which are the Sustainable Development Goals. All of you know about it. It starts from no poverty. Second, zero hunger. It's actually basically developed from the Millennium Development Goals. So it started with the first priority, no poverty. Then goes to the zero hunger, good health and well-being, quality education, gender equality, clean water and sanitation, affordable and clean energy, where I am working for the last 32 years, the same field, to give access to clean and affordable energy. The clean energy area, I'm working. And 8, the decent work and economic growth. 9, industry innovation and infrastructure. 10, reduced inequalities. 11, sustainable cities and communities. 12, responsible consumption and production. 13, climate action, or kind of climate mitigation. 14, life below water and life on land. 16 is peace, justice, and strong institutions, very important, especially very relevant now. 17, partnerships for the goals. The priority has been set according to this, and UN has come up with this agenda of 2030 agenda of sustainable development, adopted by the United Nations in 2015. So these are the sustainable development goals. We will go through one by one. I will share the general. This presentation has been. I formulated this presentation based upon UN website and all. I also referred some of the typical information providers for giving you the information, and also I used some pictures which reflects some agendas, and it reflects the SDGs. So I also give courtesy to all these people for preparing my presentation. So it starts with the no poverty. The first goal. It's very important. Eradication of poverty is very important. So if you look at any community, any society, eradication of poverty becoming the most important thing than anything else. See, as clean energy experts, we used to go to the remote sites in tribal settlements to power their remote colonies, tribal settlements, and their homes. So whenever we visit to wire up through solar energy, the immediate demand from them will be, because we need food, because that is the priority for us. We need to have all facilities to remove the poverty. We need at least some income for our sustenance. So these kind of things are very important. So that's why UN has put no poverty as the first priority SDG, the goal number 1 SDG. If you look at the whole globe, you can see that I've been listening to the progress of SDGs, actually. This is actually a big threat to our Mother Earth. We have to eradicate poverty. This is very worse in sub-Saharan Africa, in Southeast Asia, and in many parts of the world. So very tough situation, actually. Very challenging after the COVID situation. COVID was struck in 2020. It has been here. 2021 was the peak time. And 2020 and 2021 was the peak time. Then after that, the things reversed, actually. The SDG goals, I have seen that only 50% of SDG goals have been achieved. A lot to achieve, especially on poverty. Look at the nations where there is, you can see poverty. Poverty means textbook poverty, I would say. If you look at sub-Saharan African countries, the textbook poverty is there. It's very difficult. They need a lot of money. They need a lot of financial resources to improve their situation. That is the reality. People will still be living in extreme poverty by 575 million people, according to this infographics by UN. By 2030, again 575 million people will be living under poverty. And the issue is only 1/3 of countries will have half their national poverty levels by 2030. It's very tough. Very worrying thing also. And wars, the situation here in the globe now. Epidemics, conflicts, making the poverty again worse. So that is the situation now. Look at Yemen. I have seen a lot of malnutrition, kind of very young children seen in Yemen. It's the after effect of long war and long conflict. So ending poverty is the priority goal of UN. That's why it has come goal number 1. So when we speak about poverty, I wanted to refer Amartya Sen. You know Amartya Sen? He received this Nobel Prize in Economic Sciences in 1998 for his contribution to welfare economics, restoring an ethical dimension to economics. His best book is actually, it's about, the book is a book named as Poverty and Famine, an essay on entitlement and deprivation. Amartya Sen has been teaching us about poverty. He researched a lot on poverty. So without remembering Amartya Sen, we cannot speak on poverty, especially on Indian context. If you speak about Indian situations, again, 2 names coming to my mind is Abhijit Banerjee and SDG. They also got Nobel Prize, what you call the couples, the first couple who got a Nobel Prize in economics. So Esther and Abhijit Banerjee worked on a field which is very much relevant on the first sustainable development goal, the battle against poverty. So they actually, they have come up with many arguments in their book, Poor Economics. It's available in Amazon. They said about getting incentives to the poor people. The government of India is doing a lot of things. State governments are doing a lot of things. On this side, getting some money or some real benefit, real what you call, empowering them with some money is very important, even though it is very smaller. That's why the NREGL scheme and the what you call the welfare pensions are very important. You know about the welfare pensions happening in many of the southern Indian states. In Kerala, you have a lot of welfare pension schemes. So it's actually eradicating poverty. At least they are getting some money. You might have heard about Kudumbashree. Kudumbashree is a mission. It's a women empowering mission in Kerala. It's basically aimed at eradication of poverty and empowering women. So it has got a micro financing scheme. Every Sunday, this women self-help groups are gathering together so the women can lead their families. So Kudumbashree has grown like anything now. It has reached a position that in Kerala, it has shown to the world that the women can lead. Even you have seen, you can see a lot of women-led families in Kerala because of the Kudumbashree empowerment. It's a big institution, I would say. Big institution, really eradicating the poverty. Okay. Coming to zero hunger. Zero hunger is the next goal we have to achieve, the second goal. So this is to end hunger, you have to achieve the food security and improve nutrition and promote sustainable agriculture. See, we are renewable energy people. When we go for, because I am an expert on solar energy, when we go for solar farms, solar photovoltaic projects, the issue with us in Kerala, we cannot go for big utility scale solar power plants in Kerala because that can affect the agricultural fields. We cannot take agricultural fields for installing solar. We can take only wastelands. It's possible in Tamil Nadu because you have a lot of land. It's possible in Andhra Pradesh. It's possible in most of the North Indian states. So agricultural land is important for your for the productive reasons, for your food security. So if you compare green energy development and food security, I will weigh for food security. So that's why food security is important. That's why UN has put this goal of zero hunger as a priority. So if you look at this infographics, a lot of data has been given. Zero hunger goal at risk. It's given. See, hunger is actually a byproduct of poverty. So you could see more than 600 million people worldwide are protected to face hunger in 2030. So the hunger will be there. So it's a threat. Even with this situation, even with the business as usual moving, it's a threat. More than 600 million people worldwide are projected to be to face hunger in 2030. And the high food prices continue to plague many nations. So it's a big challenge. And if you look at the malnutrition, it persists in the world, especially in the vulnerable nations, in least developed countries. It is worse, like I mentioned, the sub-Saharan countries. And if you look at the zero hunger, you have some very worrying numbers with us. Though it is prepared by NGOs like Worldwide Well Hunger Life every October, and the government has difference in opinion on that, but we have an issue with this. We have our hunger index is down, so we have to fight actually. So at least this number indicates some issues which we have to address. No doubt about that. Good health and well-being has become the most important sustainable development goal. See, for me, I have a medical practitioner with me here, my wife, Dr. Bindu. She is actually a professor of pediatrics here in Government Medical College. So every day I'll be hearing about the health updates, not about me, about the um, about the health and well-being of the people coming to, especially see, as a pediatrician looking young children, a priority is basically around the SDG goal 3. So even with the infant mortality rate 6 out of 1,000 in Kerala, you have a lot to do. You have to do a lot. No doubt about that. Then you are in when you think about other states, some of the states having very worse infant mortality rate above 40, what will be the threat? About different procedures, about the vaccination, about the well-being of infants. So goal 3 has to be addressed carefully. The globally, that's why it has given the 3rd priority by UN. It is also at risk. We have to end hunger to achieve food security and improve nutrition and improve sustainable agriculture. We have to address good health and well-being. So more than 600 million people worldwide are protected to face hunger in 2030. That is the infographic giving that idea. Good health and well-being is very important. And if you look at the good quality education, the 4th goal, I would say that education brings you the base for any kind of achievement for any state. Kerala being the 100% literate state, I would say that most of the development comes from this basic thing. Kerala has led the 100% literacy movement in the 90s. And it was a very big campaign. It was a people's campaign. The victory of Kerala's 100% literacy campaign helped Kerala to work on different fields. Most of the southern Indian states are doing good with this kind of the improvement of the literacy. And all the Indian states are actually trying their best to improve their literacy rates. The literacy rate is very important because if you improve your quality education, if you improve the basis, then that can create a sign of improvement on all the sectors. The world is unfortunately not on the track to achieve the quality education. And if you look at the gender equality, the next sustainable development goal, any society which is what you call a high developed society. If you look at the Scandinavian countries, which are scoring the highest points on gender equality, on human development index, for example, Sweden, Norway, Finland, all these countries are actually having very high gender equality index. So this actually makes a basis for a good environment of working. Gender equality is not good in our country. I would say that to the extent that we want it. So it's an issue actually. So achieving gender equality is very important. So that's why UN has put this goal a very important one. The next is another very important thing, along with energy, clean water and sanitation. It is the goal 6 actually. It is a big issue, big threat. I had experience in working in Rajasthan because of for some of the renewable energy projects. So if you look at states like Rajasthan, big issue is there regarding getting the clean water. Clean water is, you will be getting water, but clean water is very, very rare in situations like in places like Rajasthan and all. So this is the biggest threat actually happening to the whole world now. Safe drinking water and sanitation and hygiene is very important. That's why Government of India is also has come up with a lot of sanitation what they call initiatives. A lot of money has been funded on this side. And globally, this goal, getting clean water and sanitation, makes a community healthier, a society healthier. So that's why UN is giving so much importance to the clean water and sanitation goal. If you look at this infographics, you can see safe drinking water and sanitation and hygiene is very important, yet to reach to billions. So a few, I would say that a few is only getting this privilege of clean water and sanitation. Even in very developed states, we can see that there are issues. You look at our cities, you can see that the waste disposal is an issue. Clean water is definitely an issue. So addressing this thing is very important for attending or for achieving the sustainable development. And then seventh goal, it is the affordable and clean energy, which is the area I already remembered. I already told about this, the area where I am working. Affordable and clean energy, that name itself sounds like you have to get clean energy to the community. At the same time, it should be affordable. It is nothing like you are providing energy to the community. You should provide clean energy at an affordable rate. That is very important. So ensure access to affordable, reliable, sustainable, and modern energy for all is very important. That's why UN has come up with the Sustainable Development Goal. If you look at globally, around 675 million people, according to the latest statistics, are without access to the conventional electricity lines, or they are not having access to electricity. This is a big threat, actually. It's actually reducing. 3-4 years back, it was more than 1 billion people, 1 billion people, 100 million people who were without access to electricity. Now, 675 million people are without access to electricity. And this also happens to the most vulnerable people, especially in sub-Saharan Africa and some Southeast Asian countries. It is worse in sub-Saharan Africa. I have an experience in traveling in Africa when I was invited by the Swedish Academy in Tanzania, in Arusha, for a workshop on solar wind hybrid stations. So we were taken by the team, the Swedish team, to the remote areas of Tanzania to see their living standards. It was astonishing to note that we couldn't see the conventional lines going to the remote areas. We have seen markets where instead of fish and all, along with the fish, I have seen small solar modules were placed for selling. Right from 2 watt peak, 3 watt peak, 5 watt peak, 10 watt peak, and the affordable people will be buying around 100 watt peak and all. So affordable and clean energy means it should be affordable. That's why they are selling 3 watt, 5 watt, because that solar panel can charge their battery for some time, which can power some light device, which will empower them to walk during night, which will empower their children to study during night. So we were taken to some remote hospital in Tanzania, in Babati village, very far from Arusha. Arusha is famous for the Kilimanjaro hills. The peak mountain Kilimanjaro is in Arusha. So the Babati village was something around 300, 400 kilometers from Arusha. No lights, no conventional electricity line is going there. The remote station was powered with a solar wind hybrid station, both solar and wind, because that Babati village is having enough potential for wind energy. So this is the way that remote areas can be powered with renewable energy. It's very easy and with a very short gestation period. You don't need more. You need months of time to wire up a small village or a small hospital. With a very short gestation period, you can do it. So that is the attraction. So what I would like to give you an idea that there are remote areas, a lot of areas in Africa. We are still the people live in the darkness. It is a reality. So where we have the provision to give them light through renewables. So like poverty, energy poverty is the lack of access to the modern energy. So modern energy access, modern energy services actually bring them modern accessories and modern facilities to their life. So, but energy poverty is a reality. It's a reality. Mostly in sub-Saharan Africa and some part of the Southeast Asia, in some island countries as well. And along with that, more than 2.4 billion people are without access to clean cooking. I think you know about clean cooking because most of the conventional stoves emit a lot of carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide. So it's not clean. They will be inhaling a lot of very dangerous fumes or gases. So this is the figure, no? If you go for 600 million people without, 600 million people, 675 million people without access to electricity, this is 2.4 billion people. Many times of that without access to clean cooking. And out of that, as I already said, 80% of these people are living in sub-Saharan Africa. A lot to do. So my story about that Babati village brings you the idea that you can wire up a remote village very easily with renewable energy. That is the attraction with affordable and clean energy. And if you look at the achievements, if you compare 2010 and the latest year, in 2010, more than 1.1 billion people were without access to. Now, it has improved. Definitely, it has improved. So, some progress there in getting affordable and clean energy to the people. 675 million people are without access now. So, it has reduced from 1.1 billion now. And clean cooking is not that much progressing, but 2.3 billion people now. So, that has improved from 2.9 billion. And share of the final consumption of renewable energy has also slightly increased to 19.1%. You can see the primary energy intensity. It has got a good sign of reducing it. And the financing, international financing, you couldn't see an improvement here. It actually reduced because of COVID and various issues and all. So the international, we need a lot of financing to go with this kind of, to achieve the SDG 7. Why I'm telling more on this is because this is my area. So if you look at the activities here, you can see a lot of enthusiasm happening on the renewable energy side. See, look at the figures. It gives a progressive development for renewable energy. In 2002, you can see the share. The conventional, the fossil fuel, non-renewables were leading. Now it started, it is equaling after 2012 or 2014, it almost equaled. Then again, the renewables started leading. You can see the lead. So it has gone beyond. So this is the reality now. Very positive signs. So the coal has reduced from 36.3% to 29.7%. It is projected like that. And renewables has increased from 28% to 38% based upon the projection. So very positive signs according to statistical data. But the thing is that if you want to go with the 1.5 degree scenario, as per the Paris Climate Change Agreement, you have to do a lot. You have to invest a lot. 150 US dollar, 150 trillion US dollar record to match to 1.5 degree scenario. The current scenario is US dollar 103 trillion. So a lot of work has to do to achieve this goal by 2050. And going to the 8th goal, I'll increase my pace because we have to cover 17 goals. Decent work and economic growth. This is all related, I would say. This is related to poverty, this is related to hunger, eradication of hunger, related to good health. So good economic recovery requires decent work and economic growth that you cannot find in undeveloped countries. You can see some very good development in developing countries like us. We have a lot of institutions where we can work very decently because we have government systems, very what you call good governance is also visible, bad governance is also visible. Both we can see in developing countries. We can see areas where there is no corruption. We can see areas where a lot of corruption is also there. So decent work and economic growth is also a very important goal number 8. For all this, you need the 9th goal, the industry, innovation, and infrastructure. So a lot of engineering contribution comes in this area. You have to increase your global manufacturing. You have to reduce your carbon dioxide emissions by reducing your fossil fuels, increase renewables. For that, you need a lot of innovations in the industry. You have to invest a lot on the infrastructure. So this goal is also very important for the sustainability, for any country to sustain. So there are priorities for different countries based on their, their resources. So you have to plan your resources. You have to go for the industries where you can invest more and you can produce more. So it's important that you are selected, what you selected. So industry, and you need a lot of innovations. You know about the intellectual property rights and all. You can see the intellectual property rights is very important on any technology front. You know, the disrupting technologies that like e-mobility, electric vehicles, and hydrogen, which is conquering across the globe, are earning a lot of patents. So these patents are actually very important, strategically very important. The countries are competing on earning hydrogen patents on technology fronts. Countries are competing on developing electric vehicle patents, like on the advancements on zero driver vehicles, on automation, and using artificial intelligence and machine learning on vehicles on all fronts. So the disrupting technologies, the blockchain, artificial intelligence, machine learning, the activities happening on hydrogen, the activities happening on electric e-mobility are making waves actually. So innovation is very important. That's why the contribution from students are important. So that's why I'm very happy that Vellore Institute of Technology, Indian Society of Technical Education chapter has organized this SDG. Because as a prestigious institute, the concentration or their focus on innovation is very important. So we need a lot of research papers. We need a lot of findings. We need a lot of patents, a real ones, which can develop new products based on the development happening. Okay. So this is actually very important. I would say that reducing inequality, as I earlier pointed out, the countries, when you look at the inequalities, it is very much evident in our kind of world. Inequality is there in our society, in terms of gender, in terms of caste, creed, color, religion. So we have to address this. This is very important. That's why our when we address this inequality, it is very important that we have to implement some certain measures according to our constitution. That's why Dr. B.R. Ambedkar has come up with our constitution, which has got a preamble, and preamble is saying a socialist, secular, democratic country. And it is giving a lot of importance to the equalities. That's why it has come up with a lot of measures to address the inequality. So globally, addressing inequality is very important. That's why UN has come up with this goal of reduced inequality as the goal number 10. And this, this inequality has been, we identified it when the COVID-19 struck. The people who were affordable could find hospitals, good facilities. You have seen the inequality there. You have seen the funerals happened in many areas. I'm not mentioning the areas. So people were not getting the usual justice. So addressing the inequality is very important when you address the SDGs. So this is also very important for me because I am working in the same field, because we are making cities sustainable, but we are contributing to mostly on energy perspective. So when you look at the sustainable city, a sustainable city, how you reduce the carbon footprint of that location or maybe that city, how you make, how you are planning to make that city carbon neutral. Government of India has come up with, the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy has come up with addressing this issue by announcing and providing funding for what you call sustainable cities project, like that they included with the solar city project in different states. Some selected cities has been announced as solar city, and smart city project. So all these projects are actually meant to make a sustainable city. It is nothing like you put a number of buildings with the solar panels. It is a comprehensive approach. It is an integrated approach. You cannot make a sustainable city by putting solar panels alone. You have to remove your waste. You have to make a habit of collecting your waste and disposing it and segregating it. And you have to make a habit of recycling, reuse, the mantra of circular economy. So sustainable cities are becoming actual sustainable cities by bringing all this together. You cannot make sustainable cities by providing some solar panels alone or providing a particular measure alone. So it should be a comprehensive, integrated approach. We can see these alarming situations shown in this infographics. Slums on the rise. If you fly to Mumbai, if you land in Mumbai airport, you could see a lot of slums around that airport itself. It's so worrying, actually. So the priority should be, we cannot remove the slums. We have to make habitation for them. We have to arrange habitation. We have to arrange dwelling for them. So providing good habitat, good sanitation, and arrangements for obtaining good health facilities, etc., are also part of sustainable cities. Okay. And responsible consumption and production is the 12th goal. Are we responsible, actually? So here comes actually the circular economy concepts. I already said about recycle. Reduce, recycle. Reduce, reuse, recycle. Reduce, reuse, recycle is the mantra of circular economy. You have to reduce your consumption. You find any option to reuse it, use it, reuse it. And if you wanted to recycle it, if you have an option to recycle it, recycle it. Even the 100% or not 100%, but almost 100% carbon neutral projects like solar projects, there are recycling provisions there. We have to do this because tons of waste from solar panels are coming up because we are getting a lot of solar panel based projects, but after 5-10 years later, the real waste is coming. We have to plan for that. For bigger utility solar projects, in international projects, now there is a condition. The developer or OEM has a responsibility. The original equipment manufacturer has a responsibility to provide this recycling provisions. So it is integrated into the tender itself. So the responsible production is important. Also, responsible consumption is important. For me, reduce, reuse, recycle is the mantra for this. Reduce your use. If possible, recycle it and repair it also. I left out repair. Repair is also important. If you can repair it, please repair it. I have seen a lot of models in Tamil Nadu when I was doing an international training on wind energy from Sweden. So part of that program, we were touring to China, we were touring to India in various parts. So of course, Tamil Nadu was the priority state because we visited Kanyakumari and visited the Kayathar wind farm. So I have seen, because Kayathar, that area wind farm is the biggest wind farm maybe in Asia, because it's a huge area has been, you can just like mushrooms, you can see a lot of wind energy turbines on almost all scales. You can see 250 kilowatt wind turbine, you can see 2 megawatt wind turbine, all scales of wind turbines you can see. I've seen, the interesting things is, I've seen a lot of technicians who reuse the wind energy turbines. You reuse the blades. So there are workshops, just like automobile workshops. these smart guys are taking the old wind turbine blades and doing the repair work, the epoxy coating or whatever they do without to the extent of what I call, because they have to reduce their aerodynamic losses. So how they are doing wonderfully and reuse it in others location. So this is the way that we have to do: reuse, repair, recycle. This is the mantra of circular economy. And 13th goal is climate action. So climate action, we know that the immediate emergency about climate, we have been facing it. The climate change is a reality. Even my state, Kerala, has faced the what you call, we never thought that this much of the millennium, or what you call the biggest threat of flood would come in 2008, the mega flood. It was the first flood in a century. Back in 2017, we faced the biggest storm in Arabian Sea, Gopi, and we lost 100 lives of the fishermen people. The flood repeated in 2019 again, but that not that much of pace. So climate change is a reality. We are facing the threat of climate change and global warming. So the action against climate change is very important. So we have to do a lot of things. We have to adapt it and we have to mitigate it. Adapting to the situation, a lot of measures have been taken by both national government and state governments. And we have to mitigate it. Mitigating climate changes, if you ask me as a renewable energy person, I will definitely say that renewable energy is the best option for mitigating climate change. So climate action and climate awareness is very important, that we have to inculcate this in the student minds, in the young minds. So this is very important. And life below water and life above water, life in the land. Life below water is, you know, the importance, because how we want to preserve our water bodies. Water is very precious, very, very precious. And the species below water is also precious. The precious, you can see how the plastic waste is making a calamity on this. I have seen a lot of photographs and videos in international media, how the plastic waste is creating a big threat to our oceans. So the slogan has come to preserve the blue, protect the earth. Urgent action needed to safeguard the planet's largest ecosystem. Of course, really, it is the largest ecosystem, our sea. We have to prevent the plastic pollution. We have to prevent the acidification, the oil calamity, the ocean warming, the coastal threats happening. So all these things are very important to be addressed. It's an emergency, actually. As Greta Thunberg, the young climate activist in Sweden, says, it is just like a fire in our house. It is nothing normal. It is just like a fire in our house. When a fire happens in our house, we will be panic. So that panic should come. Then only we will be alerted to do the mitigations. So this is goal number 14, life below water. Life on land, the importance, you know, how to make the forest cover and land cover as such without disturbing it. So relationship with nature is very important, as the infographic says. So we need a lot of productive measures to protect our forests and to protect against the land degradation, against the species extinction. So these are the threats actually faced by the land because of excavations, because of what you call mining. The mining displaces the communities. At the same time, the mining displaces or maybe takes the what you call trees also. So it's very important. So the life on land, how sustainable our land is very important. The greenery is very important. How to plant tree. That's why all June 5 Environmental Day celebrations happening annually, giving importance to planting trees. So it offsets actually the carbon emissions. You know how it absorbs carbon, how it helps the environment. So life on land is very important. So it is the 15th SDG. And peace, justice, and strong institutions is the 16th SDG. So I actually am sitting here with a lot of worries about the wars happening around us. UN is actually alerting, UN is actually warning. I would say that I've seen the what you call the speech from Guterres or UN General Secretary. We should immediately avoid war and killing people. Peace, justice, and strong institutions are very important. So the whole institutions like UN and all the institutions, all national governments should sit together and ensure that peace, justice, and strong institutions prevailing in the world. Unless and until you keep this, strong institutions, better you don't speak about sustainable development. I'm telling from my heart. You can speak about sustainable development unless and until you make you strong institutions and peace and justice in the world. It's very important. We have to end conflicts. We have to stop killing of innocent people. It's very important. So unless and until how can we say about sustainable development if we end war, if we are not ending the war? So it's very important, I would say that in this particular context, I would say that the 16th Sustainable Development Goal, peace. Let us work for peace. Let us work for justice. And let us work for strong institutions. We have to make UN powerful, to make the world live peacefully. We're going to the next goal. Of course, this is part of the 16th goal, making partnerships. How you make partnerships? Because you know about the debt happening in developing countries, because we need a lot of money from developed nations. You know more about the climate funds that are happening. So all this, what you call funding patterns are basically aimed at helping the undeveloped nations and developing nations. When the UN, what you call the COP27 happened in Glasgow in UK, the what you call the argument was for getting an agreement on defining the money, how much amount that you are going to the developing countries and underdeveloped countries from the developing nations. Even though a lot of discussion was held in Glasgow, nothing fruitful came. I would say that. Still, discussions happened actually. That up to that extent, it was good, and it happened in Egypt also. It happened in Egypt also, and in 2020, what you call the the COP28 is the Conference of Parties is happening in Abu Dhabi now, in the Middle East. I hope again this will be debated and at least how much help they can give to the developing countries and underdeveloped nations is coming into the agenda, and let us have some figures instead of discussions. That's what I feel. I'm just ending my discussion with the donut economics, which I always do with my presentations. I'm telling about the economist Kate Raworth invented the model, the donut economics. It represents an ideal state. I always end my presentation with this donut economics. She was actually was a candidate for the Economic Nobel Prize. Unfortunately, she didn't get it, but that idea is very important, very relevant, I would say. She come up with a donut which represents an ideal state of society. The ideal state, you can see the green area with a social foundation and ecological ceiling. So the donut has enough food, enough water, enough health, enough education, enough political voice, and peace and justice, social equality, without any difference on caste, creed, and religion, and gender equality, and you have sufficient energy, and with a social foundation of habitats and sanitation and health and well-being, and without making any overshoots to the ocean acidification, climate change, ozone layer depletion, land conversions, freshwater withdrawals, nitrogen, phosphorus loadings, chemical pollutions. So these overshoots should be avoided. So she predicted this model, economic model. We can do this. We can do actually a lot of Panchayati Raj institutions. You take from a small grassroots level model, do some experiments, empower our what you call people's representatives elected from the through the processes. Empower our Panchayati Raj institutions in India, in states. Make a welfare state with 100% energy generated from them, from there itself, using renewables, solar. If wind is available from wind, if water is available from hydro, without disturbing the environment. Make good health and sanitation and education and political voice and equity to the society without any overshoots. So that should be our ideal society, to make the SDGs achievable. So let us work for, let us cross this hurdle of what you call 15% achievement. 15%, only 15%, 15%. So we have to cross that. We have to do a lot. So targeting 2030, a lot to do. So target for that. I hope my speech on SDGs will trigger some idea to you, because I know Indian Society of Technical Education is doing a lot on this. That's why they have taken this topic and suggested this topic to me. Even though I am not an expert on SDGs, I am a clean energy expert. Thanks for giving this opportunity to me. Again, my thanks to the Vellore Institute of Technology and the organizers here, including Rizwan. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr.
I think
Ajith.
we can have the Q&A now.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for your insights on this topic. As we go ahead with the enlightening webinar on SDG for Sustainable Future, we have some questions in the chat box which I would like to tell you so that you can help us finding answers to those questions. So, the first question is, what is that one goal India is very close to achieve?
Actually, India is trying our best efforts to achieve. See, for me, if you ask to me about our SDG goals, see, we are actually progressively, the national government, the Indian government and state governments are targeting all the SDGs together. But if you ask me as a clean energy expert, I would say that SDG 7 is moving very fast, because India is the country where we have very high achievements on renewable energy targets. We crossed 30% of renewable energy in the power mix. We have more than 30% of power being renewable energy. The government, the only government in the national governments which made the first ministry for renewable energy. So Indian government has a separate ministry that happened directly from 2000 on, from 90s onwards, because that was a department separately, Department of Non-Conventional Energy. Then it became DNES, Department of Non-Conventional Energy Sources. Then it became MNES, Ministry of Non-Conventional Energy Sources. Now it is MNRE, Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. If you ask me, though we have a lot of priority sectors, government is of course addressing it. For example, Government of India is doing a lot on NREGL scheme to empower the local folk and giving actually incentives to them, giving them work, and thus making opportunity to earn, and doing a lot of efforts on removing hunger, and making a lot of effort on providing primary health centers. So all these things are moving ahead on by the drive by the Government of India, and of course by the state governments. But as a clean energy expert, I would like to say that the achievement on renewables is very good. So SDG 7, providing access to clean energy mechanism, is moving very fastly. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your insight on this topic. Moving on to the next question. How can we as student contribute towards a better and a sustainable future?
A lot. Actually, now students are contributing. That's why you people arranged a webinar today on SDGs. So this is the way you people work. You make an awareness on SDGs. So this SDGs actually, see, these ideas first struck in mind when the Rio de Janeiro summit was announced back in 1992. And the Millennium Development Goals was announced back in 2000 to me. So when you make this awarenesses about SDGs, so people and students will think about the SDG goals, all 17 goals, and how much important poverty eradication, how much important removal of hunger, and how much important is health awareness in our society. So that give them what you call an inclusive mindset. I would say that an inclusive mindset. We cannot focus our overall development by doing on artificial intelligence alone. We cannot move. We cannot move further without addressing our poverty. We cannot move further without addressing our sanitation and scarcity of water. So these are the things SDG goals giving priority. So this gives an inclusive um, approach or perspective to the students. That is the benefit. Well, thank you. You are not audible.
Uh, Thank you, sir. Uh, the next question is, what innovations or trends do you think will have the most significant impact on achieving SDG goals?
Yes, innovation is very important. Here also students can make a lot of effort because if you look at the research labs all around the globe, if it is in US or if it is in European countries, you can see a lot of involvement from Indian scientists or Indian entrepreneurs and young scientists. So students definitely. So we have to inculcate a mindset of research when we do our undergraduate studies as well. So I have heard that in China they are giving a lot of what you call encouragement to undergraduate students for writing papers. So writing papers should come as a culture. So innovation, writing paper not for the sake of writing papers. So when you do some look at the society, you look at the community, and look at the people around you, you can give a lot of solutions to them. Where the area they are lacking, where the issues, what are the issues they are facing. For example, during COVID pandemic, the students have come up with a lot of innovations to help the community to make. You might have seen that how we help the hospitals. The student innovation projects help the hospitals to make to make some automations on various sites. So innovation is very important. Students are the important what you call pillars for innovation. Definitely, they will be the backbone of innovation, I would say. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So the last question is, in your opinion, how can college communities promote SDG?
Sorry, can you repeat?
So the question is, how can college communities promote SDG?
Can you spell it again? Which community?
College communities like educational institutions.
College community. College. You are telling about college. Okay, okay. Sorry, I didn't hear it. So it is same what I was discussing actually. Um, See, institutions, educational institutions, even schools can give importance to the awareness of SDGs. As I already stated here, SDG achievement is very low. We are lagging behind actually. So we have to address this to make our world more proper to world for to live for all the communities, all the societies peacefully. So colleges and institutions, especially education institutions and schools, can do a lot of contributions because, like your Indian Society of Technical Education, I am the chair of IEEE Power and Energy Society here. You might have heard of IEEE. IEEE is actually working for humanity. IEEE has various activities spreading these activities like ISTE. So all these societies and all these NGOs, organizations can be affiliated with the colleges and institutions and do this kind of awareness programs to make the students enlightened. Thank
Thank
you.
you, sir, for your insights on this topic. I would like to extend a heartfelt vote of thanks to our esteemed speaker, Dr. Ajith Gopi. Thank you so much, sir, for your willingness to share your expertise with us today. Your insights, knowledge, and passion have left an unfading mark on all of us. As we wrap up, let's carry the spirit of sustainable development forward and continue working towards a more equitable and sustainable world. Now, I would like to request all the attendees to take a moment to fill out our attendance sheet. You can find the attendance sheet link in the chat box. Your participation in this will help us improve our future events and ensure we continue to bring you content that matters most to you. Don't forget to fill the feedback form also. Your feedback matters to us a lot. Stay tuned for our next events as we continue to bring you valuable insights and discussions on various topics. Moreover, we are encouraging you to follow our social media handles and updates for future updates. Th- Once again, thank you so much, sir, for joining us. This is your
Thank
host.
you.
Thank you so much, sir. This is your host, Kaveshri, signing off.
Thank you so much. Thank you, IST, and thank you, Kayasri, Anushik Pandey, VIT, Vellore, and all the participants joined to listen to me. And thank you for giving this opportunity. Thank you. Bye bye. Good night.
Thank you, sir.